whereas with materials like mineral wool, it might be 3 hours. With PIR, it might be 6 hours. Polystyrene is actually the worst. What is decrement delay? So, Andy, we get asked a lot about decrement delay. What is it? Why is natural fibre good for it? How are we going to introduce that one?
Yeah, so when we're looking at insulating buildings to sort of modern standards, often, and especially in the sort of current changing climate that we have, often the winter heat loss part of the equation is fairly easily solved by highly insulating buildings. What is becoming increasingly more of an issue is actually how we prevent overheating during the summer months. And so decrement delay is a characteristic of sort of high mass insulations that basically helps to attenuate the fabric heat gain. So looking at how thermal energy transfers from the exterior side of the component due to solar radiation into the inner space and affects the internal environment, and that gives us this kind of characteristic of decrement delay.
Okay, so decrement, so the decrement factor is, so if you've got a 20 degree temperature variation on the outside of the wall, so in the morning it might be, in spring it can be as low as freezing on the inside, on the outside, and then in the middle of the afternoon it might be 20 degrees on as a peak. So you've got a 20 degree temperature variation. The decrement factor is how much of that variation is then sort of transposed to the inside face. So you might only have, if you've got a 20 degree temperature variation on the outside, you might only have a 1 or 2 degree temperature variation on the inside of the wall. And the decrement factor goes between 0 and 1, with 1 being absolutely no temperature variation on the inside of the wall and 0 being the same on the inside as on the outside. So in that example, 20 on the outside, 2 on the inside, you'd have a decrement factor of 0.9. So that's what a decrement factor is, but then we've got the delay, which is...
basically the time, the phase shift, the time between the peaks of exterior temperatures and the peak interior temperatures. And in terms of the material properties, that's really regulated by the thermal conductivity of the material, its density and its specific heat capacity,
Exactly.
which is the energy required to increase the temperature of the material. So broadly speaking, what we're looking for is to maximize our enjoyment of space and perception of comfort. We're really looking for the interior temperature curve to fluctuate as little as possible, but the exterior curve can fluctuate quite significantly, and it's by using high mass, dense insulations like wood fibre that gives us this sort of minimally fluctuating interior curve, in conjunction with other solar shading methods and whatever else.
And then also with the delay, so the delay is the difference between the external peak relative to the internal peak, and with materials like wood fibre on a sort of relatively standard build-up, you might be delaying that sort of that peak temperature on the inside face by 15 or 16 hours, whereas with materials like mineral wool it might be 3 hours, with PIR it might be 6 hours. Polystyrene is actually the worst, down to about 2.5 hours, something like that. So yeah, with all that sort of combination of different factors, you can really boost summer comfort. So yeah, hopefully that explains it.
Absolutely.